What is the best martial art? You're in an unavoidable situation. You have to use what you know. Think of it like, what do most people know? What's your enemy probably going to know? So as a martial artist, as somebody who's done martial arts for the last 15 years or more, I can tell you that the majority of people that go out and try to hurt people and start fights, they don't have a lot of training. What they have is experience in street fights. And I'm generalizing this a lot, everybody, because everybody is different. Every opponent you'll fight is different. So what you're going to try to do as somebody that wants to make themselves more effective against these bad guys is try to cover as much of that percentage of what's out there. Okay, right? So, I mean, I think the two things that people know the most are going to be boxing and wrestling. So, first off, you're going to have people that are just street fighters. They're going to throw winging haymakers. That's going to be the most likely. That's going to be like 98% or less. We'll say it's like 90%. You're going to have a percentage, and I'm making up these numbers, so just bear with me. Then you're going to have a percentage of people that actually know a couple things. Maybe they wrestled in high school. Maybe they were in karate classes as a kid. Maybe their dad boxed and they showed him their dad showed them how to box a little bit. Are their skills going to be really sharp and kept up on? Probably not. You have a general level of discipline when you are in a gym training and have sharp skills. You're not going to be going out there and using those skills to hurt people for the most part. There's always exceptions to the rule. I'm going to keep throwing that out there because don't take everything I say, take it with a grain of salt. We're kind of brainstorming here. But so what I'm getting at is the majority of people have no training. Maybe they have street fights and they feel tough because they have that fortitude. They'll go out, they'll try to knock somebody out, and they've probably knocked out more people than they've been knocked out. So they have confidence. That's a big one, confidence. Okay. With that, you can actually beat a lot of people. Two people fighting each other, one has confidence, one has no confidence, same skill level. The one with confidence is going to win. The other person's going to back down and turn their back and get demolished. Then you're going to have a percentage of people that have some old knowledge, whatever, wrestling. They might know how to execute certain moves, but not with really good precision. You know what I mean? Like they're not practiced up on. So if you're going to learn a martial art to combat the majority, which is the 90% that I said, I would say boxing. And here's why. Most people, again, majority, are going to come at you aggressively because they have confidence, and they're going to be throwing punches trying to hurt you. With boxing, if you learn how to cover up, how to move your head, how to slip, how to parry, how to roll, how to angle, you will exploit any of these people that just come out and throw haymakers. You will exploit their lack of understanding with boxing. You're going to pick them apart. They're going to come in, they're going to throw that haymaker, you're going to roll under that big right hand, you're going to jab, you're going to hook. They're going to not know what to think. They're going to come at you more. They're going to throw punches, you're going to block, you're going to look for that opening, you're going to go straight. You're going to pick them apart, okay? Next, I would say if you had two to pick, you're going to want to pick wrestling next. And this is why. Fights a lot of times go to the ground. So if you're picking somebody apart with punches and you can keep them away and not able to take you down, granted, these people aren't skilled wrestlers. They're not college level Olympic wrestlers. They're not going to do a beautiful double leg takedown, pick you up on their shoulder, and dump you. That's not going to happen. Not with this 90% that I'm talking about. So that they might freak out and try to get a hold of you, though, once you start picking them apart. Now, you can keep them away with your punches, especially if you utilize some inside boxing. Next thing you got is wrestling. Okay, so say that situation happens where you get this 10% of people, I can't say 10%, you get this percentage of people that have knowledge from a long time ago. So you get somebody that did wrestling when they were a kid. So if you're skilled with boxing and wrestling, and this guy comes up and grabs a hold of you, and he tries to do this lame wrestling that he learned back in the day, and you cross face him and you prevent his takedown, you've nullified that unpracticed ancient knowledge that this guy has. Same with boxing. He comes in, he's throwing these kind of wild punches. He kind of knows how to cover up, but you've been practicing, you're in shape. You know how to beat his limited knowledge. So I'd say boxing and wrestling. Even Bruce Lee said this. He said, what was it, 6 months or a year or something? I don't want to get the quote wrong, but he said 6 months or a year of Western boxing and wrestling can take out a martial artist of 20 years. And he's right on that. Those two skills, those two martial arts cover your ground and your striking. But now let's move on. Say you want to cover more of a majority, or you want to cover a bigger base. So you started out, you covered most of it with boxing. To be honest, most people are going to get covered with some smooth hands. Then you got the pretty much the rest of it is going to get covered with wrestling. Okay. But then you got to take it a step further. Okay. And I think the next one that you're going to want to learn is kickboxing. Um, Not necessarily Muay Thai, but Muay Thai, you could go with Muay Thai because of the knees and elbows, and those are very crucial on stopping wrestlers and boxers and different people that like to come in close. So you're covering your kicks, you're covering your kick defense, you're adding to your striking, and you're preventing more takedowns. The next one I would say is, you could argue and say BJJ. Everybody goes for that. But let's be honest here, and I'm not putting down any BJJ guys, but I think that there's better martial arts out there for takedowns, and I would say that judo is probably better for takedowns as far as grappling goes. Now, judo offers submissions and all that kind of groundwork too. I feel like your wrestling is going to take care of your ground though. If you know some basic submissions on the ground, your the advantage that you get from judo with the takedowns and put people in bad positions, and the fact that you can end a fight with slamming somebody. So folk style wrestling, you're already able to pick somebody up and slam them on their head. But you add judo into that where you can hip toss somebody and slam them on their back and just completely eradicate them. If there's anything left of them on the ground, you don't need to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu to stop that. My skills that I would say, if you were going to pick one, boxing. If you're going to pick two, boxing and wrestling. If you're going to pick three, boxing, wrestling, and Muay Thai. If you're going to pick four, boxing, wrestling, Muay Thai, and judo. And then if you're going to pick a fifth one and if you're going to make it mixed martial arts, because come on, mixed martial arts, I'm going to get into this in a second. Mixed martial arts versus everything else. Everything else. And I'm going to get into that in a second. So the disclaimer on this is, it doesn't matter how much you know. That 90% guy that knows nothing could still come out and overhand right your ass and put you in the hospital or kill you. You don't want to fight on the street, people. You don't want to do it. There's some bad shit that could happen. And doesn't matter how much you know. Guy could have a lead pipe tucked in his sleeve, and you could be going for some freaking flying armbar omoplata, whatever, and now you're dead. So you don't know what the mindset of other people are. You don't know if they're on drugs. Somebody could be on meth. You could put them in a put them in an arm bar. They could let their arm completely snap in half, and then they could just beat you into the ground with nothing more than strength and no pain at all. So that is why you don't want to fight on the street. But you should always be prepared to defend yourself in the unfortunate and unlikely event that somebody is going to put your life in jeopardy. Um, and that's why you should have some basic skills. Boxing and wrestling, Muay Thai. Um, you could basically pick a number of different styles, mixed styles too, whatever. But what do I got? Gash is here. I'd rank Muay Thai clinch really high for self defense. Yeah, but I would too. But you'll and Muay Thai will cover. I would say just like boxing, it'll cover that majority. But if you get somebody that can do a sloppy takedown and you go for a knee to the face, um, unfortunately with Muay Thai, that knee is right there. And if you get dumped on your back and you have no wrestling experience, you're you're in for a world of pain because wrestlers' whole goal is to keep you on your back. And if you don't know how to breathe when you're wrestling, that's another thing. You're kind of you're gonna gas out really quick. Um, Abe said bear spray. Now a lot of people bring this up. They say, "Well, I always have my trusty 44 Magnum in my side holster, and I'm good." Or I got this neat little pokey thing that I keep on my keychain, and nobody's gonna get close to me. All right, well, what if you what if you go for what you were going for and he slips out of your hand, you drop it, you drop your taser, you drop your gun, and then what if the guy clocks you in the face when you drop it and you're laying there with a broken nose sideways, gushing blood all over the place. You can't see because your eyes are watery. And you're looking for your gun, which is just a blur on the ground, and before you know it, you're getting shot in the head because dude picked it up off the ground. I'm not saying I'm not saying don't don't protect yourself that way, but anytime you bring another object into the mix, you're risking a sack of coins. Yeah, you're risking danger to yourself. Um, the best thing that I can say that you ever want to do in a confrontational situation is to try to talk your way out of it. It might sound like you're being a punk, but telling you, you get out of it, you live to fight another day. And if you get put in a situation where there's no backing out of it, you're getting cornered by a couple people, and you've taken a year of boxing, you might just come out of that situation with three people and three of them laying on the ground. It could happen. I'm just saying. But there's really no substitute for training and staying in shape.
Street beef is going down in the scrap yard, yeah, yeah.